Path of Exile full presentation, baby. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from
Woo! Chris Wilson. Woo!
And today is the day
Look at that.
of Path of Exile. You're going to find out a lot of awesome stuff.
I was about to say something.
Before we get started though,
Thank God I
want to
stopped
mention that
myself.
There are Twitch drops that you can win. Below the live stream, there are some instructions for signing up and linking your Twitch account with your Path of Exile account. And if you do that, you'll be
Chris
eligible to
Wilson!
receive the drops. So today's live stream has got 4 sections.
By the way, I
They say you should
really
start your show with a
like
bang, so
Path
we're
of
gonna start
Exile,
right off
but
with Path of
it's
Exile.
it's sort of a love-hate
After that, we're gonna
relationship
show
between
you
me and Path of Exile.
Ultimatum.
I love the
This is an
game. I love
expansion
playing
of
it.
regular Path of Exile that's coming out
I
literally next
hate
week.
the trading.
After that,
The
we're
trading
gonna be joined by
sucks
Ziggy D,
for
who's
me.
gonna host a Q&A where he asks me a
The
whole bunch
trading
of
is
questions
so
in the Twitch
bad,
chat.
and
So
it's
if you
so
have any
bad,
questions about
and
the
again,
various
it's so
reveals, make sure to
bad
keep them the
for me.
Q&A.
I hate it.
Then
I
there's gonna
hope
be a
it's
live
changed.
episode of the Bay-Class podcast
I don't
where
like
Taki
it.
Cash and his crew of Path
It's
of Exile
dumb.
veterans are going to discuss all of the things we've announced today. They'll be joined by Rory Rackham, who's the Grinding It Games developer who is in charge of the development of the Ultimatum League. Alright, let's get started. You're probably wondering, why has it been so long since we last showed you any Path of Exile 2 footage? And honestly, this is because the project is so important to us that we are definitely taking our time to make sure that we make the best possible action RPG. Let's watch a new
Yes.
trailer.
You'd think it'd be better to just show footage when, you know, like it's probably like a month or two away from releasing. Cause this just sorts, cause this like what they're gonna show us in like a couple seconds, it just, you know, it makes the anticipation that much more. Cause let's be honest, what they're gonna show us now is probably gonna be changed in the final product coming next year, maybe 2 years from now. It's not gonna be the same. They might keep some aspects of it, but they're probably gonna change it. So what we're seeing right now is nothing but probably fan service. It's like what it could look like, but it's what it's probably not gonna look like. They're gonna have the same core concepts, like, you know, the new weapons and stuff, but what they're the mechanics right now, the UI, that they might change that. At least that's what I always see from game releases, from Overwatch, Persona 5, things like that. Because when they release stuff like this, like a teaser that for a game that's gonna come out like a year or 2 from now, or maybe like 10 years from now, people always have like this some sort of expectations from the teasers that they release that they get disappointed when they actually do get the game. Like this one, that one right there. See that? I get this one that just doesn't look it, but look at that one. Imagine if Path of Exile suddenly the isometric camera just pans down a little bit when a boss spawns. That'd be awesome, right? It's like a little tiny cinematic or cutscene, but it's seamless, just like in The Last of Us 2. You know that part when they're like overreaching the city? It's from gameplay to cinematic, without you even noticing it. It's seamless. It doesn't matter that I'm talking over this because it's basically just gameplay with some loud music. Path of Exile 2, baby. As you can tell, I'm really passionate about this game. I spent thousands of hours playing this game. Maybe not all of them. You know, probably a fraction of them just AFK. I usually just leave my PC on when playing Path of Exile when sleeping, because I didn't want to waste some time launching the game back in the day, because back in the day it was like the loadings were so harsh, especially on my computer that didn't have an SSD yet. But they upgraded it with the Vulkan and all. I love this, because that means you don't have to... Wait, do I like it? I didn't really. I mean, look at that. That looks awesome, by the way. I don't get what it means yet. Oh, I get what it means. So that means like item drops aren't necessarily rare, or at least linking them isn't rare, but the gem links are going to be rarer. So they put more specific, they put more RNG on the gems, because the gems right now, the skill gems, don't really have any RNG to them, except for when you're doing heist, if it's like the alternate version. I'm sorry, I haven't played Path of Exile. I played Ritual for like a week, maybe even less than that. I wasn't really getting into it, even though there was a new expansion of the new Atlas. I wasn't really that into it, so I just cut my losses. Didn't want to waste any more of my time, even though people said that it was a really good league because of harvest and stuff, but I just wasn't really feeling it. But this one I like it because the skill gems actually take some of the RNG that you get from the body armors, so you don't have to spend a lot of time finding links for them.
Gem system, new items, new
like you can just get the normal rare items with the stats you want and not have to worry about the links.
monsters, character classes, all the ascendancy classes are completely new. It's got cutting edge
have to spend like 2,000
as you just saw. Basically, it's everything you would expect from a sequel to Path of Exile.
Currency. I forgot what the link currency is. As you can tell, I haven't played Path of Exile since Ritual.
Both campaigns will be fully playable from within the same game plan. You'll be able to play through the original Path of Exile storyline or the new Path of Exile 2 campaign on the way to the shared endgame. All of your old characters will still be playable, and of course, any microtransaction purchases you made in Path of Exile will carry on to the sequel.
Hell yeah, dude.
We introduce the dark forests of the island of Ogum, where you start your journey. Today, we're proud to showcase Path of Exile 2's second act, which takes place in the Vastiri Desert. Welcome to Path of Exile.
Did they show the first act?
As you saw in the trailer, Act 2 is centered around a caravan of Maraketh called the Ardura who live in the Vastiri Desert. You're chasing another caravan from an opposing tribe called the Faradun. There's a set of large ancient gates blocking the progress of the caravan through a desert pass, so you're being sent through the Traitor's Passage to unlock them.
Oh yeah.
Wait here, Jingak. But the military carts have departed for the gates. Make haste.
Path of Exile 2 is a lot more than just new acts. We want combat.
Oh, did you see the new
brutal and
waypoints?
Responsive, even at low levels.
It's like runic now,
Ensuring that
or
each
not
weapon
runic,
type
but
has
like
unique and different mechanics. Each weapon class
Kinda
feels different to
cyberpunkish.
play, and today we're going to start by demonstrating the new spear weapon class. Spears are a weapon class favoring mobility with both melee and ranged attack options.
dude, Sin Zhao.
And each spear
I
will
bet someone's
provide
gonna make a
at least one
Sin Zhao
mobility
build.
skill.
I'd love that.
In this case, the spear comes with both an engage and disengage skill. When you engage, it increases your melee damage for a short time, and that really encourages
I never
you to
liked
be
melee.
mobile during combat.
It seemed too clunky for me. I like melee if it's Cyclone. CSE
One
Cyclone.
of the skills we're using here is called Whirling
With the
Slash.
two
When you use
Paradoxicas, or
Whirling
maybe
Slash,
one
it creates a
Paradoxica and
sandstorm
one
that grows in size
God
each
foil.
time you use the skill. When you leave the sandstorm, it explodes, dealing damage to nearby monsters. A great way to do that is to
Or
use the
Flicker Strike.
disengage skill, which
I like
makes you
pressing
climb
only one
backwards
button,
and throw
okay? I'm
projectiles.
lazy. And if I'm gonna be playing a game 1 hour, you can't expect me to be freaking playing the piano for a couple hours a day. The perfect position, or else I'll die.
In PoE 2, each area's mini-boss is a much more substantial fight with interesting mechanics. You'll be able to find at least one mini-boss in each area of the game.
Okay.
One thing I love about this boss in particular.
So there's a
is that it
mini-boss in
destroys
each
the
area.
ceiling when it slams the ground, letting
I thought
you
that was always
light.
the case.
Clever players will notice that if they're standing in the light, then they're not going to have any rocks falling on their head.
Wasn't that always the case? Each area? Maybe like each area, I think starting from Act 6 to 10. But maybe Act 1 to 5, each area did not have a boss.
Can stun if you're willing to commit to a long attack time.
I haven't played
While
the story in a while.
skills for Path of Exile 2,
I only
we're
have
really
one
thinking
character
a
on
lot
Ritual,
about
I
designing
think.
skills that can be cancelled early to dodge, or you can commit to the full attack for maximum damage.
I need to practice soon on the race. Maybe a couple of days before.
Can't disrupt the rhythm of combat.
One of the skills we're using here is called Spear Field, which creates an area of spears coming out of the ground that impale monsters who walk into them, causing them to bleed. As the monsters move towards you, they take damage, so using your mobility skills as a way to move away from them is a great strategy here. In Path of Exile 2, we've invested a lot in our animation system. I'm sure you're noticing the animations are looking a lot better than they did in PoE 1, but there's also a lot of subtle detail, like characters having different run
I do
animations
wish they'd
depending
fix
on how fast they're
the
moving.
dropped
When we use a
items
Quicksilver Flask here, you can see the character
graphic.
changes to a sprinting animation.
That's not fun because it just adds a lot of clutter to your screen. Like, cause in Path of Exile, every item loads in, right? Like with hundreds of monsters right now, and each monster has a chance to drop something, even though it's like useless. It could drop a white item, a shitty rare, a shitty magic item, or you know, like bubblegum currency, and you're never gonna, like, the items that you're never gonna pick up, but there's gonna be still be loaded on your screen, which is really bad for your computer.
Crossbows are special in that they grant attack skills implicitly.
I love
This
that.
particular crossbow grants power
It
shot,
looks so
which is
clean
high
without the
damage single
links.
target attack. In order to modify what power shot does, you're going to need to equip bolt skill gems, which change the type of bolts that are loaded into the crossbow. Here we've got 3 different bolt skills that the character can switch between depending on the situation.
Armor-piercing bolts. Incendiary bolts.
Permafrost bolts can be used to disrupt packs of enemies to prevent them from closing in on your position. You can then
Also,
follow
there's
the
those skill
armor-piercing
gems that
bolts
can
to do
only
plenty of
be
damage.
on crossbows. So do both skill gems don't affect it?
In this area, we're helping Asala, leader of the Ardura, to open the ancient gates and let the caravan through.
He doesn't have the precision on his middle click.
Because the bolt types are the skill gems, support gems that are added to them will modify whatever the skill is that you're using. Here we're going to add multiple
That's awesome.
projectiles to our incendiary
I wonder if you can change it.
Permafrost bolts. Continue the assault. Incendiary bolts.
Cause doing that like makes certain kinds of currencies obsolete, right? Because they only affect armor.
Permafrost bolts.
Okay.
Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts. Armor-piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts.
In Path of Exile 2, we're doing a lot more interesting things with monster packs. Here you can see some of the monsters patrolling around.
Armor-piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts.
That's cool, I guess.
Piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts.
I wonder if these are like locked in.
Piercing bolts.
They're showing so much. Are there like for sure mechanics in the game? I find it hard to get invested into something that might not be there by what the game releases. But it's cool. Augmentation.
Piercing bolts.
Now we're coming to another example of a Path of Exile 2 mini-boss, Laim the Impaler.
Armor-piercing bolts. Incendiary bolts. Armor-piercing bolts.
The boss has dropped another type of crossbow, a siege crossbow. This crossbow grants the siege cascade skill. The skill is also modified depending on what type of bolts you're using.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Depending on what type of bolts you're using.
Yo, he didn't have to move his gems.
Permafrost bolts.
It just carried over automatically. That's crazy.
Incendiary bolts. Onwards! Give these demons no cause. Baradun has fallen to corruption. Incendiary bolts. Armor-piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts.
Ah, dude. I so don't like this play style of having to stop moving.
Details to combat in Path of Exile 2.
I play too much Risk of Rain, man. I don't understand not
We
moving.
really want to make sure that there's a feeling that as you leave the battlefield, there's clear evidence of what combat took place there.
I feel like you should always be moving, especially in like these types of games, where like there's hundreds of mobs like coming and kill you. That's also one problem that I found that Path of Exile has, because of all the clutter of items that, you know, have a spawn. Like, you killed hundreds and hundreds of monsters, right? And each monster has a chance to drop an item, which clutters the screen, and it makes you feel like the monsters aren't valuable enough. Like, you should probably just skip the monsters. It doesn't give you enough value to actually kill all of them. I feel like they should lessen the amount of monsters and up the drop rate of all the items, or the rare items, you know? Because it'll balance itself out. Kill less monsters, make monsters stronger, so that each fight is more important, and the drop rate increases. So it doesn't look like a bullet hell like this, or a bunch of mishmash that, you know, the mobs don't matter, essentially. And you want them to matter. So you make them stronger, spawn rates up, and make it less mobs on screen.
This is the perennial king, the leader of the Faradun. His goal here is to prevent you from catching the caravan at any cost.
An example would be Dark Souls, right? Is that the entire act? Or did they just show us the entire act? 15 minutes might be.
Make haste! He must not escape! Quickly! He conjures the very sands against us!
Talk to the defector. Oh, that's so cool, that animation.
This madness has gone on long enough. The king is not the man I once knew. And sands swallow me if I do any more to enable him. You plan to continue your pursuit, yes? You will not catch him. Not without me.
We cannot follow through the raging sands. Let us return to the caravan and question this defect.
I do wish that...
This is the Ardura caravan, your town.
I'm gonna say it later.
I am Asala, the Sekima of the Ardura. I care not where you came from, nor what caste you might have been there. All that matters
I'm
is
gonna
that
make
you have
notes.
shown yourself capable in battle, Jingak. Remain a friend to the Ardura, and you shall have nothing but respect from us. From what your shade has told us, the situation is dire. This Balbala
I'm gonna make notes
will
on what I
live or
want to talk
die
about
based
later.
on her usefulness in pursuit of the seed of corruption. Ask her what questions you will, then we, Ardura, will decide her fate.
You need not trust me. You will see the truth of my information soon enough. I ask nothing.
Wait, are we on a boat?
Only that you do what you know is right.
One of the things we really wanted to do in Act 2 was to use the mobility of the caravan to allow the player to choose how they explore the act. Here you're given 4 options on how to proceed.
Oh, it's a big act.
There is a tribe of lost man that inhabits the Mastodon Badlands.
That's a big act. How long is that gonna take?
Those long-ago beasts.
What?
And that fate
Wait, is it gonna come out with like
rise to powerful
only 4
tasks
acts?
that can somehow call on storms and strike enemies with lightning.
This will be Path of Exile 2 players are gonna be at disadvantage when racing to endgame.
And use their
That feels like a really long
lightning in
act.
war.
Or maybe not.
Do what you must.
We haven't played it yet. We're just
Your
seeing them
events
play through it.
demand you tread upon a valley of the dead. Do not do so flagrantly.
Dude, my arms
Keep your
are
presence
sore.
light. Cleanse what corruption you can,
Ugh.
and we shall skirmish with the Faradun to protect your flank.
Once you've picked your destination, the caravan will travel to that area and come to a stop so that you can disembark and go on your quest. Because we just got the Storm Spear skill as a quest reward, now would be a great time to switch back to spears and use some ranged abilities. Storm Spear fires a lightning projectile which splits on contact. The other skill we're using here is called Blazing Lance. Blazing Lance creates a trail of fire from the ground, dealing damage over time. However, if you're willing to stand in place for long enough, you can
Flame
throw a
wall.
second spear that will fan the flames for much more damage.
You see, there's just too many monsters, and it doesn't feel like it's worth it to kill all of them. Because most of them are like trash mobs, right? But I guess that's what ARPG is. Maybe I shouldn't.
We've just found a unique spear. It's called Devata's Wind. This spear has an extra modifier that synergizes really well with Storm Spear. When you disengage, you get 2 additional projectiles on your projectile skills.
What is that? Summoners? Wait, they summoned a carry-on golem. That's tanky as hell. That's what I would like. And then it dropped some crazy stuff because it, you know, it took a while. Are we really just playing through the AG? That's crazy. Boss fight. Bones of Colossus. There's 2 of them. I like that. I like the thing on top. I like that boss, the boss health bar. That's always visible. That feels a lot more like a boss. That's sick. That's sick. I like that. I like that change. Why don't they just make that change in real Path of Exile right now? Can't be that difficult. In fact, it's probably a lot easier to just have it on screen instead of having it pop up whenever you look at it. Oh, he's almost dead, man. He took that one hit. Took 90%.
If you have any questions about what you just
damn,
saw,
that's
we'll be
over.
doing a Q&A later on. While Path of Exile 2 definitely won't be released this year, we do have a Path of Exile expansion you can play 1 week from now. I'd like to introduce Path of Exile Ultimatum.
You only live once, exile.
YOLO! 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 You only live once, Exile. This looks just like Ritual.
A simple ultimatum.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not Ritual.
Or risk it all for a chance at ungodly riches.
Isn't that exactly like Ritual though?
For each trial you accept, the
God damn,
challenge
each.
grows. But fail and leave with nothing.
It's like harder Ritual.
Reap the reward you deserve.
They reworked everything. What?
Ultimate reward requires ultimate risk.
They're reworking everything.
The ultimatum.
What does that mean? How are they gonna rework it? Are they just gonna change like a bunch of numbers? Or what?
When some people think of the Val civilization, they think of blood sacrifices, or Queen Atziri, or lost temples in the jungle. But I think of risking your items.
Yes.
From Val orbs through double corruption, the whole Val or no balls meme, we had to make sure that this expansion was about the concept of risking your items. to get
Val or
great
no
reward.
balls, yes.
In each area of the Ultimatum League, you'll meet the Trial Master, an emissary of a Val entity only known as Chaos. On behalf of Chaos, the
There's
Trial
like
Master
a-
enacts trials where exiles must risk an escalating set of valuable rewards as
There's
they
like the
attempt
other
to
chick.
overcome progressively more difficult encounters. In each trial, you'll be presented with a reward, an objective, and a selection of difficulty modifiers that make the trial harder. Once you've chosen one of the modifiers, you must then complete that objective under the constraints of that modifier in order to win the promised reward. If you succeed in the challenge, the Trial Master will present you with an ultimatum. Either walk away with what you have earned so far, or risk it all to try to win additional rewards. He'll offer you another item if you can select an additional difficulty modifier and complete the challenge with both modifiers present.
I may be remembering it
Fail,
wrong.
though, you'll
Isn't
lose
that
both
just like
rewards and
Ritual?
walk away with nothing. If you succeed, you'll be offered an additional reward in exchange for adding yet another difficulty modifier that stacks on top of
It's been a month or
ones.
two, or three.
This cycle continues
since I played
until the
Ritual.
rewards become increasingly valuable and the encounter extremely difficult. You'll have to pick a point to end your run and claim your spoils before you make the encounter too hard and lose everything. At its longest, an ultimatum in endgame maps can sometimes have up to 10 fast trials in a row, with a special surprise in the last one. In maps, you'll occasionally find items called inscribed ultimatums. These items can be placed in the map device to transport you to the Trial Master's domain. Each inscribed ultimatum specifies an offering that you must bring with you, a reward you can
Double
earn, and an
sacrificed
assortment of
currency.
ultimatum difficulty modifiers. If you're able to complete the
Wait, that's
trial,
broken.
the Trial Master will reward you with a specified reward, which is usually
Wait.
worth around twice the value of the
Garrett-
item you must bring. For example, you may be asked to
Guaranteed
risk an Exalted
double?
Orb to win a stack of 2, or potentially risk a stack of 5 to win a stack of 10.
Why can't I just
Naturally, inscribed
put a whole
automatons
stack
can
of
be traded with other
exalts there,
players,
or
so if you don't feel
mirrors?
capable of completing a difficult challenge,
Double
you may
my
be able to
currency
trade it
pool
away for a
instantly, huh?
portion of the difference in price between the reward and the item that must be risked. Likewise, if you have a powerful character, you may be able to selectively
Oh,
trade for profit.
it says it right there.
Be able to trade it away
So requires sacrifice to nurse times 4.
for a portion of the difference in price.
And this one is only 1 exalt. So I feel like these aren't gonna be, especially with the currency, or like exclusive ones, like, you know, exalts, divines, or anything like that. I don't feel like they're gonna sell. You know, because you'd rather just use them yourself rather than sell them, because it's just a waste of time to, you know, have that transaction, because trading sucks in Path of Exile. Might as well just do it yourself and, you know, double your money, instead of, you know, selling it for 1 exalt, or maybe a little less than that, but still wasting time trading, because trading is god awful in this game. That's my one gripe about Path of Exile: trading. It's what causes 90% of the players to quit, like, after reaching endgame. Trading, wow, that sucks.
Between the reward and the item that must be risked. Likewise, if you have a powerful character, you may be able to selectively trade for profitable ultimatums to run. There are also new unique items that can only be obtained from Ultimatum. One such unique is the Glimpse of Chaos Val Mask, which provides powerful benefits to your maximum life, mana, and energy shield at the cost of having severely reduced elemental resistances and no chaos resistance. The item can be corrupted multiple times and has unique corruption outcomes, such as removing a random modifier or transforming it into a different random corrupted unique helmet entirely that retains its corruption implicit mod. Another new Val unique item in Ultimatum is Mahuzottl's Machination, which grants you 6 keystone passives at once. Combining all of these keystones results in some very unusual outcomes, and the item features an entirely new unique keystone as well. We have worked hard to make sure that Ultimatum doesn't punish you for being in a party with other players. Party members compete in trials together, but have separate rewards available to them that will need to be locked in to begin the trial. Each player votes on which difficulty modifiers to select. If there's a draw in votes, the modifier will be chosen at random. If one player wants to take their reward and opt out of the next difficult trial, they're able to do so without stopping the other party members from continuing. Rewards are dropped allocated to the players who earned them.
The guy's named Cyclone. Only viable
So
melee
that's
skill.
Path of Exile Ultimatum. I can tell you, on release day, a lot of our developers are looking forward to watching Twitch so we can see players risking far too much in order to try to get good rewards. Speaking of rewards, there's a lot to talk about here. We had a look at Path of Exile's past reward systems. And we
Yeah?
honestly feel many of them are out of date, many of them kind of lack identity, and to top it all off, like the core drop pool of just items that drop when you kill regular monsters just wasn't really compelling enough. Like, you know that feeling where any monster could drop a mirror? We want that for a whole slew of different items. And so we've made a lot of changes to Path of Exile's reward systems. There's a bunch of ones to the core drop pool to keep it really interesting. There's ones to
Yes.
basically every piece of League and expansion specific content. And we're going to go through all of those for quite a while now. And I should mention that every change we're about to discuss not only affects the Ultimatum League, but also Standard League too. We started by reviewing which items can drop from monsters and chests in the core game.
You don't have to
make
worry
sure
about that,
the
no
core
one
drop
opens
pool
those
remains
shits.
Compelling, we've made various changes. You can now find 2 additional currency items as core drops, Orbs of Binding from the Harbinger League, and the new Veiled Chaos Orb, which we'll reveal in more detail soon. We've also added 5 new Atlas base types, like this Energy Shield Recharge Amulet. These drop in specific regions of the Atlas of Worlds and have some powerful new implicit mods. Another topic related to the core drop pool is that of boss runs. Veteran community members will remember when people used to do Val Oversoul or Dominus runs over and over because they were a profitable use of time. Final act bosses now drop more and better items, giving you a much more satisfying close to a difficult act and a more item-focused approach to getting ready for maps if you prefer.
That's
We've
nice.
also added a bunch of very powerful and valuable League-specific uniques into the core drop pool. This means that they can drop from any sufficiently high-level monster without you having to engage with specialized content. Examples of these are Badge of the Brotherhood, Asylum, Pledge of Hands, Maloney's Mechanism, Brutus's Lead Sprinkler, and Headhunter.
What?
The goal of all of these changes is to make sure that every monster you kill on Path of Exile has a chance to drop something incredibly valuable.
That's
regardless of what
crazy.
content you're playing.
Nemesis?
On top of all of that, we've
What?
added a handful of new vendor recipes, which let you make some pretty cool stuff. We really missed the days when players were scrambling to try to find unknown recipes, and so we're looking forward to seeing how
What
long it takes you to
headhunter
discover how
can?
these ones work. We have also
Whoa!
introduced a new type of reliquary key into the core drop pool for this expansion. If you're very lucky, you can find a Val reliquary key from any monster or
I
chest
didn't
in Path of Exile.
play it in Reliquary
When
League,
consumed
so
in the map device, it gives you access to a vault with a chest that drops a special foil version of a Val-themed unique item. Each unique has an equal chance of dropping. Due to the value and power level of the items contained within, this is the rarest reliquary key ever added to Path of Exile. The rest of our reward changes relate to items that you can earn by playing past content like prior leagues and expansions. We have two goals here. The first is to add and improve items so that all past content is a compelling set of rewards. The second goal is to make it so that the best way to get any reward is to play the content that is primarily associated with that type of reward. Path of Exile's first expansion, Sacrifice of the Val, introduced a new ultimate boss, Adzeri, Queen of the Val. This fight holds up pretty well these days.
That's pretty
considering that it
garbage.
is
I hate
7 years
that.
old,
I hate that
but its
fight.
rewards really needed a refresh. The Sacrificial Garb base type that drops from Adzeri has been significantly improved with the addition of an implicit mod that grants +1 to the level of all Val gems you have equipped. We have also added 2 new unique items to Adzeri's drop pool and 2 more to Uber Adzeri's.
Aura stackers,
One of
anyone?
which is the Adzeri's Rule Judgment Staff, which prevents you from being stunned or having your damage reflected. It grants a skill that alternates between Flames of Judgment and Storm of Judgment when used, as if you absorb the powers of Adzeri herself. Skipping forward to 2016's release of Ascendancy, we have made some changes to how you receive your Labyrinth enchantments. Previously, when you completed the Labyrinth and went to enchant an item, you couldn't see what random result you'd get. Now, the result for each type of enchantment is shown to you in advance so you can make the right choice. In the Eternal Labyrinth, you're now offered 3 different helmet enchantments.
Oh, dude, just like
in addition
Minecraft.
to the boots and gloves. This will make it a lot easier to find enchantments relevant to the skills you're using and to apply them to appropriate items.
Oh, that's sick.
In 3.14, we're going to stop giving out unique jewels for each day's fastest labyrinth runs, and we've
Finally.
added these jewels as very rare drops that you might find in the labyrinth's
Yes.
final reward chests.
Yes, screw those guys.
Another highly requested labyrinth-related improvement is that you can now consume an offering to the goddess in the map device to open portals directly to a random trial.
Wait,
This
what?
greatly accelerates the speed at which you can find your final trials.
Quality of
We've also
life,
added 2 new
baby.
labyrinth-specific unique items,
Oh,
including
damn.
the Scales of Justice unique shield, which rewards building your character with a careful balance of life and mana. If used correctly, you'll be granted protection from shock and ignite, as well as additional fire damage. Kadira Parandus now has a much larger selection of unique item rewards. We have also rebalanced all sources of Parandus coins so that Parandus content is still the best place to get them from. A
That's
craft introduced in
boring
Harvest
ass.
kinda destroyed the Parandus coin economy, so we're absolutely fixing that at the same time. Essences have been numerically rebalanced and are in general stronger than they were before. Screaming Essences can now be used to reroll rare items, in addition to their capability to upgrade items to rare. The 4 Corrupted Essences have had some of their less useful outcomes improved or replaced.
Wait, what?
Now-
You can upgrade items to rare? Wait, does it re-roll them? Does it re-roll a magic item? Cause if not, that'd be pretty awesome. You're guaranteed a good stat, or at least 2 good, or at most 2 good stats, and 1 stat you want, like intelligence. Well, that's crazy. If it doesn't re-roll the magic, then it's awesome. Oh my god.
Now, the only way to get the powerful upgrade-only top-tier essences is through remnants of corruption, which come from essence content. Blessings, the currency used to upgrade breach uniques, can now be used to upgrade breach stones between tiers also.
Oh my god, level 100 easy?
Abyss jewels have been rebalanced and are on average more powerful than they were before. We've also buffed
Yo,
Abyss
breach
chests
content
to
is
make
gonna be
sure they're the
awesome
best
then.
place to get Abyss
Because you can
jewels.
just farm and then reach level 100
We've
easy.
also introduced Abyss Scarabs and have added 4 new Abyss-specific unique jewels, such as Tekrod's Gaze, a murderous eye jewel that increases your main hand critical strike chance. and
Ooh,
your
it's
offhand
either
critical strike multiplier
breach
based on
stone
how
prices
many
are gonna
murderous eye jewels you have
skyrocket,
equipped.
or
Another Another example is
Like
the Woman's Gaze searching
it's either breach stone, like the bottom tier breach stone prices are gonna skyrocket, or the top tier, like the pure Chayula breach stones, are gonna fall down in price. Oh my god. Chayulas are still probably gonna be really, you know, expensive, but the tools, the softs, the blue one. Damn, that's really cool. So the only profitable flips now are gonna be Chayulas and Ul Natals.
Jewel, which counts how many searching eye jewels you have equipped and grants your projectiles a chance to be able to chain when colliding with terrain proportional to this number. These unique jewels have a chance to drop from any of the unique encounters at the end of the Abyssal Depths, and these encounters are now by far the most reliable way to obtain a Stygian Vice belt. We have added a handful of new beastcrafts, such as add a mod to a map or add a mod to an influenced item which consume existing beasts. There are some other aspects of beast crafting that we've been keeping our eye on for a while, and we're taking this opportunity to rework them, so that high-level gameplay is less reliant on obtaining certain beastcrafts. Now, when you use a splitting beastcraft recipe on an item, both copies are marked as split, which prevents them from being split again. You cannot imprint split items. One of my favorite reward changes in this expansion is that...
Oh my god. That's actually crazy. Wait. All the bases. Oh no. Oh well. It's gonna be a crazy league. That's what I'm telling you.
That Incursion's Temple of Atsuato can now be itemized. Once you have access to the map device, Alva can turn your completed
Wait, you can itemize that?
into a tradable object that can be consumed in the map device. This means that players can specialize in either making temples to trade to other players or trading for temples that are ready for them to run.
Yes.
There have also been
I've always wanted that
temple.
change.
As you may know, specific rooms in the Temple of Atsuato can drop unique incursion items that can be later upgraded. Many of these base unique items have been improved in this update. Previously, the temple's boss, the Omnitect, dropped random rare items with special incursion mods on them. Now it also drops rare items with incursion mods based around the themes of the rooms.
Wait. So are they gonna itemize everything? If they're gonna itemize the temple, they could itemize the betrayal safe houses as well, right? Like for example, the Horichi ones, like for the white socket. Can't you itemize that? It's simple to itemize because it's its own separate zone, like the temple. Wait, they don't? Why not? If they can itemize the temple, why can't they itemize the goddamn safe houses? That's stupid. GGG, you're so stupid.
Higher tier rooms cause more rare items. Specific rooms now add specific monster packs to the temple, which results in more monster density, challenge, and reward. Temple mods have been buffed so that if your temple has more high tier rooms, then it's equivalent to a good map. We have performed a modernization pass on rewards from temple rooms so that they're competitive with rewards from newer leagues.
That's cool.
The explosive room also contains some basic chests that can be
I don't
opened with
really know
flash
what that
powder
means
kegs if
exactly
you don't
yet,
need them
but
for opening a path elsewhere in the temple. Delve has had a big increase to early rewards and a reduction to the quantity of high-tier rewards spawning at very deep depths. The end result is that Delve is a lot more rewarding for almost everyone, but a few extreme players who delve very deep will not be getting quite so rich from it. A big problem with rewards and betrayal is that players deem it not worthwhile to kill Katarina because it resets your betrayal syndicate board. In this expansion, we have massively increased the incentive for doing this. Now if you manage to kill Katarina, all syndicate members drop their rewards at one tier higher than they previously would. This change required the introduction of a new 4th tier of reward from each syndicate member and encourages the use of a larger variety of syndicate targets and safe house leaders. We have improved rewards that were not as interesting or valuable as the best ones. For cases where we deemed rewards too powerful, we moved them to tier 4 rather than nerfing them. The tier 4 rewards are approximately twice as powerful as tier 3 ones were. We have also added a new unique item to Katarina's drop pool as further incentive for killing her. The Cane of Kulamak drops only from Katarina. Similar to Paradoxica, it has 3 veiled modifiers that must be unveiled one at a time via Jun. This means that each version of the cane could be entirely different, and because of the way the Veiled modifier system works, you have the chance to get 3 mods that potentially synergize extremely well, or maybe just
They're
a crazy pack of
explaining
mods that don't work
Veiled.
together. Furthermore, the cane itself scales up the magnitudes of any unveiled modifiers on it.
No, they're gonna announce it. They're gonna be like, yo, you can itemize the safe houses now.
Offered a choice of 3 mods, but these are now more powerful versions
I'm
of the
waiting.
existing ones. The powerful ones are unveiled onto items, and the normal versions are the ones you unlock that can be crafted onto items. Also, progress towards unlocking crafting of Veiled mods is at a slightly faster rate than before.
That's cool.
Some very powerful Veiled modifiers are now only available at their original strength on the unveiled version of the modifier, and the crafted version of the modifier has been lowered in power. Earlier in the presentation, I alluded to the new Veiled Chaos Orb as an item that has been added to Path of Exile's core drop pool. This new currency item rerolls the target item with new mods, like a regular Chaos Orb does, but one mod is guaranteed to be a Veiled mod. While it can drop from any monster or chest in the game, by far the most effective way of getting it is from Isling and some Betrayal safe houses. We have introduced 3 new types of incubators for Blight, Metamorph, and
No,
Delirium.
they didn't announce it. GGG, if you're listening right now, why can you not itemize the safe houses if you can itemize the temple? The individual safe houses are also different instances, just like the temple. Why can't you just apply the same thing that you did with the temple, that you can itemize it and trade it with other players, and do that same thing with the safe house? It's not that hard, is it? Is it hard? I don't know. It feels like it's the same, because it's the same. It's a different instance that you can just do on your map device. It's already what you do right now. So why can't I do the same thing that you just added in the temple, where you can itemize it? I'm repeating the same thing because it's important. Where you can itemize the temple and apply it to the safe house so I can itemize it and trade it to other players. It makes it so much more seamless. Instead of having like different types of discords, having this stupid trust system that you're just gonna have to hope and pray that they don't scam you. Ah, so stupid.
And have modernized the rewards from the other incubators. The item yield from chests and blighted maps is now affected by a portion of the map item's quantity, giving you a reason to roll your blighted maps if you can handle the additional challenge. Anointments to blighted maps have been rebalanced and reworked so that each has its own purpose and with a consistent increase in reward as the oils get rarer. This is basically entirely buffs, because one big nerf we needed to do was already done last league.
I'm probably still not gonna do Katarina, by the way.
You can now corrupt blighted maps.
Just having a
These
tier
can
4
very
doesn't
rarely drop the new
really...
tainted oil, which allows you to apply anointments to corrupted items.
Okay.
We have also introduced blighted scarabs.
Nice.
We have added 2 new types of catalysts themed around speed and
What does that mean? Blight encounter, additional blight boss, additional reward. Lanes of blight encounters, areas of an additional reward chest, chance for a blight chest to contain an additional reward. Huh.
We have added 2 new types of catalysts themed around speed and critical strikes respectively. These new catalysts are rarer than previous ones.
Okay.
As discussed in the recent development manifesto, the current 3.13 version of Harvest is too rewarding, so we're rebalancing its crafting and also increasing how often you'll encounter portals to the Sacred Grove. The current version spams you with way too many crafts, so each seed has a chance to grant a craft now, reducing the overall number of crafts you can perform per garden, though you will encounter the grove 60% more than you did before.
What did he just say?
Powerful crafting options have been removed or changed. The Heart of the Grove encounter is now a map fragment that can
I don't know what he
randomly
just
drop
said,
from
but
tier
I guess
4
it's a nerf.
harvest bosses
I hope it
instead
is.
of rarely replacing the entire grove when it spawns. With the release of Ultimatum, Ritual will be added to the core game, with a chance to occur in each map you play. It has also been added to the
So
Atlas
boring.
passive skill tree system and is available as a Sextant mod.
Okay.
Almost every time we release a league, we later roll it into the core game with a chance to spawn in maps. Usually 10%, sometimes 5%. When Ritual is added to the core game, we are standardizing this rate at 8%, which means a small decrease for some leagues and an increase for Harvest. We have rebalanced other things to compensate, like the rate at which heist rogues level up. Most Atlas passive trees have the same increase in chance for bonus content, meaning they now offer more than double the chance of encountering your preferred content. So I just spent a ton of time describing
I'm sorry.
Most Atlas passive trees have the same increase in chance for bonus content, meaning they now offer more than double the chance of encountering your preferred content. So I just spent a ton of time describing lots of buffs to Path of Exile's different reward systems, and there was one nerf that I left to last. And that's because it's a nerf to a league that I kind of care about a bit. Talisman was one that I kind of led the design on, and players joke that it's my favorite league. Now, in the 3.12.3 content update, there was a change to talismans. Basically, they weren't good enough, so the team decided to add a random anointment to them, which made them a lot more powerful, and also to juice up the mods to make them well rolled. And that was overkill. Like, as you've seen recently, talismans have just been dropping with insane mods and great anointments, and we felt in this expansion, especially because you can use tainted oils in order to
My guy almost died.
redo the anointments on talismans, because now you can modify corrupted amulets. Honestly, they don't need the well-rolled mods anymore, and so we've removed that. Talismans are still compelling, but they're not quite where they were in the last league.
Sure.
Every Path of Exile expansion
I
needs
mean,
new
with
ways
the amount that talismans drop, maybe you didn't have to nerf it because talismans drop like, I don't know, less than they already. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't play last league. I don't know.
players to slaughter their enemies. In Path of Exile Ultimatum, this takes the form of 4 new skill gems and 4 support gems. In line with Ultimatum's Val theme, these gems focus on blood. The idea is spending life rather than mana to use your skills. Alongside the new skill and support gems, we've also made some adjustments to the low life mechanic, including changing the low life threshold to 50%. This makes it much easier and safer to stay on low life for builds where it matters. Typically when players create low life builds, they rely on Energy Shield to protect themselves against incoming damage. The new skill Petrified Blood enables low life builds to instead use some of their life pool to absorb hits. While it's active, you can't recover life above 50% through any method other than flasks. Sources of life recovery like life regeneration and life leech only apply to the bottom half of your life pool. Additionally, a portion of incoming hit damage that affects the lower half of your life pool is spread out over time rather than being applied instantly. Corrupting Fever consumes a chunk of your life and grants you a buff that causes all your hits to apply corrupted
That
blood to your
sounds-
enemies.
The other one
Corrupted
sounds
blood stacks up with
broken.
each hit, causing more and
Doesn't
more
that mean
physical
you
damage over
still
time.
have 100% life,
When
but you
you've
just can't
consumed a certain
regen
amount of life to cast
50%?
skills from your life pool, the buff's duration refreshes. Essentially, as long as you're consuming life to use skills, you'll be causing damage over time to stack on enemies. Be careful though. The Exsanguinate skill shoots tendrils of blood in front of you at the cost of life rather than mana. In addition to a strong physical damage hit, it also applies
That
a
looks like
physical
the
damage over
Eve
time
Q.
debuff, which can stack up to 3 times. You can also support Exsanguinate so that its tendrils chain from one target to the next. Reap conjures a giant bloody scythe that swings across a selected area, applying strong hit damage and physical damage over time. Each use of the skill causes it to gain a charge that scales its damage up and increases its life cost up to 5 times. These charges drop off over time as well as after killing enemies, making Reap very powerful at stacking up damage against single targets. We've also added 2 new support gems that have split the existing blood magic support into 2 separate support gems. The first of these is the Arrogance support, which causes supported skills to reserve life instead of mana, and also provides an increase to the effect of auras that it supports.
I don't really
Just like the original blood
care
magic
about
support
this.
gem, the reservation multiplier diminishes as the gem levels up. The Life Tap support gem causes supported skills to cost life instead of mana. Once you've consumed a certain amount of life to use a skill, you gain Life Tap, which increases your damage for a few seconds. The Cruelty support gem grants a buff called Cruelty, which increases the damage over time you deal with supported skills. It also boosts the hit damage from supported skills, and the Cruelty buff gets stronger the harder you hit. This gem is designed as an additional option for builds that focus on both hits and damage over time. The Bloodthirst support gem is a new option for low life attackers. This gem adds a percentage of your life as physical weapon damage while you're on low life, letting low life attack based builds really scale their damage, which wasn't an option before. Alongside a Val-themed expansion and blood-themed gems, it felt right to take the opportunity to improve Val skills, which are supercharged versions
looks
of regular
awesome.
gems that charge up with the souls of your slain enemies to deal huge bursts of damage. One of the main improvements is that you now get far more souls for Val skills from damaging unique enemies, so your Val skills will recharge faster against bosses. We've also improved the Atziri's Reign unique jewel. Alongside increasing the duration of your Val skills, it also grants a chance to regain all consumed souls. Val skills have also received a balance pass that you can check out in the full Path of Exile Ultimatum patch notes in a few days. So we've covered most of the key components that make up Path of Exile Ultimatum. Keep an eye on the news over the next week as we reveal the finer details of what's coming. We'll move on to the Q&A shortly to answer your burning questions, but first let's have a quick look at the new supporter packs that are available right now to celebrate the launch of Ultimatum and help fund ongoing development of Path of Exile. The Silver Crescent and Imperial Sun supporter packs come with masses of points to spend in the store, social frames, forum titles
That
and
looks...
badges, a download of the digital soundtrack, and of course exclusive cosmetic microtransactions such as armor sets, alternate helmets, and weapon skins. The Silver Crescent series has an
Looks
exclusive
alright,
portal
I
effect,
guess.
and the Imperial Sun series has an exclusive aura effect. Each series has 2 packs, and the smaller packs can be upgraded to their respective large pack anytime while they're still on sale. These are of course in addition to the new core packs that were released at the end of last year. Remember to check those out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support. Purchases of these supporter packs are the only thing that fund ongoing development of Path of Exile, its sequel Path of Exile 2, and expansions like Ultimatum. The
Yeah,
reveals
bye,
we showed
guys.
you today are already live on YouTube for you to link to your friends in case they missed the live stream. Please do so, we're keen to get a big turnout on the release of Ultimatum next week. And we've got plenty more reveals planned for the rest of the year. There's a lot more Path of Exile 2 stuff to show off, and we've also got some new progress on Path of Exile Mobile we're keen to share with you as well.
Path of Exile
Anyway, if you have
mobile.
any questions from what we've shown you today, please get them ready because I'm about to be joined by Ziggy D as we do a Q&A based on your questions from Twitch chat.
Yeah. That's pretty content filmed. Especially the reworks. Those reworks are amazing. Mwah. It seems like they just stacked up the reworks that people have been complaining about for years and just did it in one whole patch. Which gives the illusion of a lot of content being released. But damn, I wish they could have just itemized the safe houses, man. I don't know why they didn't do that. If you can itemize the temple, which is dude, that's awesome. You can itemize the temple. Why can you not itemize safe houses? They're like, they mechanically work the same. You know, you summon portals in your hideout, and then you go through them to an exclusive instance where you can get your reward at the end, just like the temple. Oh well, maybe I'm stupid.